Well, joining me now for more analysis is Ian McGilvray, a Turkey and Middle East researcher at the University of Melbourne. Thank you very much for your time, Ian.
Thanks, Catherine. Thanks for having me.
Now, this is a snap election being called early by Erdogan. Can you give us a brief history of why Turkish people are heading to the polls this weekend?
Well, the elections were supposed to be held next year in 2019, but the political party of Erdogan's Justice and Development Party has pushed the elections forward to this weekend. Because what was seen as a brewing kind of economic crisis on the horizon. So this would be seen as an opportune moment to put forward the elections to kind of garner the most votes for the party.
Now, the citizens will cast two ballots on Saturday, one for the presidency and one for parliament. It's being described as potentially a watershed moment for the country. Just how important is this election for the future of Turkey?
Well, this election is probably one of the most critical elections over the last 16 years. Erdogan's AKP party has been in power for 16 years, but what we see with this election, with the shift from a parliamentarian to a presidential system, is the sort of centralizing of power within the strong executive around President Erdogan's office. What we would see if Erdogan is successful is a shift from a majoritarian-style, somewhat illiberal democracy to a full authoritarian-style regime.
So before we look at the outcomes, I want you to take me through the opposition, if you like. The anti-Erdogan camps in the past have often been quite disparate groups, but that's not the case this time round.
This is due, obviously, at this election, new laws have been put through, and one of these was the creation of an alliance law, which was for the benefit of the AKP and their nationalist, far-right nationalist party partner, the National Action Party, or the MHP. But as a consequence of that, the opposition is actually galvanized between three disparate political parties: the Republican left-wing Republican People's Party under Muharrem Ince. You also have the E Party, which is the Good Party under Meral Akşener, which is a right-wing party, and then you have also the Saadet Partisi, or Felicity Party, which is an Islamist party. So you have this sort of wide ideological spectrum that have joined forces as an opposition movement.
And what are their chances? What are the polls saying, if indeed the polls are at all reliable?
Well, Turkish polling is extremely unreliable just because of the politicization of polling, particularly in this election. So it's very uncertain of what the outcome will be for the election. However, we have seen an energized opposition, something that Turkey has not seen over the last 16 years. And obviously, Erdogan's party as well its campaign has been failing in its message and has not been as enthusiastic as previous years. So there is a chance that the opposition party could take power, whether in the parliament or the presidential, but unfortunately, we can't tell until we see the results on Sunday.
So how likely is it that, say, Erdogan becomes president but doesn't have a parliamentary majority? What will that mean for Turkey?
Well, look, according to some of the polls at the moment, this is a high possibility that Erdogan will take the presidency, whether in a first or second round, but the parliament will actually be taken over by the opposition. What will happen with this, however, is that there will be, the president will have such extreme powers in there that he could pretty much rule by dictate. And, it'd be very difficult for the opposition to put forward a strong force. But, it's uncertain. Maybe Erdogan might be able to concede and show some sort of diplomacy towards the opposition, but it's uncertain to see at the moment.
Finally, and before I let you go, has this been a fair race in your opinion?
This election will definitely not be held under fair and free conditions. There are numerous issues with this election coming up. First of all, Turkey has been under a state of emergency since 2016. There is also, of course, the massive skew and bias in terms of the media. 90% of the media is controlled by Erdogan loyalists and allies. There's also a raft of new legislation that's come through, which has really shifted the balance of this electoral process towards the government. And finally, one of the candidates, presidential candidates, is even campaigning in jail. Selahattin Demirtas, the leader of the sort of majority Kurdish party, the HDP, the People's Democratic Party, is campaigning from his prison cell. So it's not a very free and fair election. OSCE election monitors are in the country for the upcoming elections, but we will see what will happen from there.
No doubt you'll be watching this keenly over the weekend, as
Indeed,
will we. Ian McGilvray, many thanks for your insight today.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.